In the last episodes, we spent a long weekend exploring the Dry Tortugas National Park. We snorkeled in some of the most beautiful turquoise water we've seen in Florida.
Not sure if you can hear us because of the wind, but we are about 2 hours into our trip from the Dry Tortugas heading back to Key West. We just passed Rebecca Shoal. We're coming up on Isaac Shoal here, and we had to change our course a little bit because we were going dead into the sun, and when you're going through a minefield of lobster traps, it's important to be able to see where you're going, and the glare from the sun heading east was just too much, so we had to alter our course a little bit, so we couldn't head as far offshore immediately like we wanted to. So far not too bad, only a few traps so far. We're taking the seas on our quarter bow, heavy 2-foot chop, occasional 3. Not uncomfortable, but definitely bucking and rolling a little bit, so.
Getting a little bit of a spray up here even. We just have to keep wiping our glasses some.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Sorry. It'd be nice if we could close the eyes and glass, but it's just so hazy that we have to keep it open in order to pretty much be able to see. So, but not too bad. I mean, it's a easy trip so far. Nice day. Partly cloudy, so we'll see how it goes. I like the amount of traps we've seen so far, so if we can keep it like that, that'd be great. to the channel at Key West. How do you feel about that? How do you feel that we're about an hour away from Key West?
Pretty quick, actually.
Yeah, that was definitely a quick, nice, easy day. Feel happy? Does it sadden you?
I think I'm happy. The cats are a little woozy down there. They're rocking and rolling downstairs. And that'll be like a sign of a successful trip, so hopefully
That's
an
true.
hour to go. We still hold strong. Yeah. So far, the only thing that's broken has been that the isinglass holder,
Yeah.
which we converted back up there. We'll see if that lasts. But seen some couple sea turtles, a dolphin on the way. What else?
Saw something floating, like a square package or something floating. It might have been square grouper. We didn't go investigate it. Should have, but next time. All right, I guess we'll be seeing you when we round the bend. Welcome back. On today's episode of What Did Wiff Break Today, let's show you what we got. Start off, where are they at? Right there. With the remains of the straps for my isinglass, followed by the cover for one of our LED lights. And then we'll take it down, cooling off the engine room, drying out our bridle. There's a bolt that goes from here into there out to the other side. We lost the nut once, but we found it just in time to put the nut on without any issues, and we put some thread lock on it. Apparently that was not good enough, but let's keep going. Step into the dinghy. A battery box, which was fastened down, used to have a top to it. Apparently it's in the high seas now. That's all we got for now, but be sure to stay tuned because I'm sure there's more. So the plan was to leave Key West, which is just outside the map, cruise up to Marathon, stay the night, head to Islamorada, stay the night, and cross the Gulf Stream from Islamorada into Bimini. So we wanted to cross at that angle to maximize the push we'd get from the Gulf Stream crossing over to Bimini. In Bimini, we'd stay a couple days and leave in the afternoon to head over to Mackey Shoal, which is about 35 nautical miles away, and we'd anchor overnight there. There's something about being anchored out in what feels like the middle of the ocean that we really wanted to experience. Anyways, from Mackey Shoal, we would cross the Great Bahama Bank and head up to Great Harbor Key, where we would pretty much stay at Great Harbor Marina, and that would have been our base of operations while we cruised the Berry Islands for about a month or so. At the end of the month, we would leave Great Harbor Key and slowly make our way down to Chub Key. Over the course of a couple days, while exploring the parts of the Berries that we didn't get to see. Here at Chub Key, we plan to try and fit in with the rich crowd at that marina for a little bit before heading back to Bimini and ultimately back to Florida for a total of 6 weeks in the Bahamas, roughly.
I want to go. So we were all squared away with our CBP road map and our CBP re-entry sticker, and we took the kitty cats to the vet and got their shots updated and their pet permit filed, and we used Wellington's online service, and that worked really well for us. So you can consider us another crew that's vouching for that service. It's easy and convenient.
Absolutely.
Did you like it? I liked it.
So as I showed you the route that we were going to take, we've got our Q flag, quarantine flag.
Quarantine.
I know, right? It gives
the irony.
It gives a whole new, I guess, perspective to that flag. Got our Bahamas courtesy flag. It's a little rough from. Damn it, we don't have autofocus. It's a little rough. It's missing its ring from our last time to the Bahamas, but still in overall pretty good shape. So we're pretty prepared in that regard. And we wanted to be prepared with our provisionings as well. So we had a couple weeks to really get all of that squared away. But that's pretty much when our nightmare began. This all started in mid-March, and the world is slowly becoming chaos with coronavirus. So when we went to the stores, we realized that the shelves were pretty much empty. Your options were limited. People were panic buying whatever they can, which essentially caused us to kind of sort of panic buy with the provisionings with everything that was remaining. So we felt like we had something, to some sort of food stocked up. When we went to buy cat food, the manager at the pet supply store said, we're not closing down, right? And that's when we had to say, yeah, we're not panic shoppers, okay? We are provisioning to leave the country, which coincidentally looks a whole lot like panic shopping, but it's not what we're doing here.
So as the day got closer, we got wind of mandatory shutdowns that were taking place pretty much everywhere. And so we had to decide if we wanted to leave early and try to get there before it got too crazy. We could hang out in the outer islands of the Bahamas and be relatively safe from COVID. Or should we stay put for a month and maybe try again in another month? It was a really hard decision to make. I mean, we spent so much time and money already in planning this, so it was a tough one.
So ultimately, we decided that this is just a little bit too much unfamiliar territory with everything going on, and if we're going to be somewhere, we'd rather be in a familiar area with a lot better resources to get us through this period in time. So, I mean, we were pretty bummed that we weren't able to go to the Bahamas and we had to stay in Key West, but we never really expressed those sentiments out loud because how ridiculous would we sound saying, I can't go to the Bahamas, I gotta stay in Key West, Meanwhile, the rest of the world is becoming sick, people are dying, and everyone's trying to protect themselves. And Team Wiff is over here like, paradise or paradise? It's so hard, I can't choose. So we're not throwing a pity party. We didn't then, and we're not doing it now. But that's just what we were facing.
Yeah, sheltering in place in Key West was probably the best place we could have been. So that ended up being the best choice for us. I mean, even the cruisers who were there at the time didn't have a very good experience during COVID and the lockdowns and all. So And it would have been a bad taste for us and bad experience returning to the Bahamas, so we'll save that for another time. And so ultimately we had to decide to cancel our trip.
So yeah, that was a year in the making, and that's pretty much how it boiled down to for us. But I'm curious what you all would have done in that situation. If you were faced with our choices, how would you have reacted to it? And really, generally, I'm curious if some of you had to cancel your travel plans or just your plans in general. What changed for you during that period? I know it was a really tough adjustment for all of us, but I'm curious to see how that affected you all. If you want, we can just throw a pity party down there in the comment section. That's all right. If not, then just make sure you leave us a thumbs up before you head out of here. And we appreciate you watching, and we will see you all next time. In the next episode, we adapt to being quarantined in Key West pretty well. We take off for a secluded anchorage as we pass through this quiet harbor that's usually packed with cruise ships, charter boats, and tourists soaking up the salt and sun. As we're getting used to being kicked back and relaxing, I discover some critical problems on the boat that bring our lazy days to a screeching halt.